I come back in this house, didn't I? I come back in this house and said, I don't know a damn thing about farming. they're right. It was like immediately obvious to me that everything that you lot, I say you lot, it's as if I don't believe you still. Hello, it's an absolute honour to meet you, sir.
It's an honour to meet you.
Honour to meet you. How are you doing? You all right? Is it Matt?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Matt. You all right?
How's things?
Good, thank you. Yeah.
Chris.
You all right, Chris? And are you two family?
We are.
Yeah, I've got you. Got that worked out. It's not promising with these grass seeds, are they?
That's right.
So when we started implementing the kind of ideas that you have taught us, we started on some of the poorer pasture land. The irony is we carried on making hay on these lower fields. So this was a hay field.
Okay.
Well, always has been a hay field. And then we've basically just used these sheep to do our
Oh, you're trampling?
trampling. My neighbours will think I'm absolutely bad because you're not supposed to waste grass.
So when you get this trample effect, you know, you're getting a whole bunch of positive compounding effects. So, you know, obviously you're laying this in contact with the soil surface, so you're building carbon, organic matter, and that type of thing. You're protecting the soil, you know. The other thing that's occurring is to get this trample effect, you've got to have sheep or cattle in higher density.
Yeah, that's right.
And so with that, you're getting an awful lot of manure and urine applied. So natural fertility that is far, far better than any other type of fertility that we have. The other thing that's occurring is that these animals are shedding microbes, you know, in their saliva, from their coat, in the manure and urine, and those microbes are very symbiotic with the microbes in the soil. And so they're stimulating each other. So we call that microbial quorum sensing.
We had 25 worms per spadeful in this field. Next door they had 4. So 25 earthworms per spadeful.
Wow.
4 over there. And on everything else, it was like the Peter Byck film. This film was, the numbers were mad compared to next door. But I'm going to shut up because you can tell me actually, because it might not all be good news. You might see things you don't like.
Yeah, that root density is really good. This is functioning beautifully. And then if we give it a shake, look at all of that. I mean, you've got just aggregates clinging everywhere to this. You know, we want dirty roots. We don't want clean roots, right? The other thing that I'm really loving here, you see this tremendous amount of fine fibrous roots. Fine fibrous roots are far, far better than big tap roots at breaking up compaction and all of that. These fine fibrous roots can exert up to about 300 or so pounds PSI, whereas a big tap root can exert only about 150. But then because there's a ton of mycorrhizal fungi attached to these, mycorrhizal fungi can exert 1100 PSI. So
they're sort of punching through the...
They're punching through all of that compaction and plated layer.
You feel it, right?
It's very spongy.
Yeah, very spongy.
So you're managing it extremely well. I mean, this is... I'm honestly super pleased with what I see here.
Can I tell you something,
because
Matt?
We don't see this very often.
So it's 15% soil organic matter on the test.
Yeah.
It was really mad. The P figure for this field for plant available is 10 times as much as next door. It's 18 there and it's 112 in here.
Oh, wow. I mean, this is the best soil we've seen, you know, on our trip.
Can I say something else? I think I saw a slide of yours yesterday where you're learning to read the land.
Yes.
And like even learning to read plants, we never had plants with these big fat leaves.
Okay, I am so glad you said that.
I mean, these are sort of super
you
plants.
just made him the happiest farmer in the whole.
This is perfect that you're bringing this up, and here's why. When you build this biology and this highly functioning soil here, and especially when you're building that mycorrhizal fungi population, we see the exact same plant species totally change its morphology. And this is how it exhibits. So there's 2 ways it exhibits this. Number one, the leaves get wider. So the same plant, instead of being very narrow, all of a sudden the leaves get wider. And the other thing that we see, and I do see this in here, is that the individual blades are longer. Okay, So you're growing more total. Think about the biomass that you're growing there if you've got longer leaves and each one is much wider. Yeah.
That's right.
I like to think of them as each one's a solar panel, and the wider and the bigger, longer and the more, it's just...
That's exactly right. They can capture a whole... There's very, very little photosynthetic leakage here.
And then you look at land, don't you? And I look at my land. Okay, some of it's looking a little bit post-trample at the moment. It isn't looking at its absolute greenest, but it doesn't have that yellowy look.
Exactly.
And the yellowy to me has become synonymous with sort of compaction.
Yeah.
It's not. And you look at this, you go, hang on, there's no yellow here. This is deep dark green, like as if it's had nitrogen.
Well, it has.
Yeah.
It has, and you know, and unfortunately, we've been taught to think of nitrogen just in the inorganic form.
Yeah.
You know, the nitrates, the ammoniums, all of that, and we have wholly ignored the organic fraction of nitrogen that's in the soil. But why? It's because the organic fraction is not available to the plant for uptake. It's there, but it's not available for uptake by the plant in the absence of a strong mycorrhizal presence. You've got a really, really good mycorrhizal presence. So what's occurring here is that your plants are getting plenty of nitrogen, particularly from that organic fraction of nitrogen.
And the irony is my neighbour's actually putting on synthetic fertiliser. It's hundreds of pounds. His field next door is hundreds of pounds negative to mine.
And still looks like that.
And still isn't as
compared
good
to this. Yeah.
And the other thing I'm blowing my mind in is, because we grazed this in June, it still hasn't fully recovered in terms of back to spikes, has it? And yet, and yet there's masses of biomass.
Yes.
I think we've got to a point in 5 years where I'm getting an extra grazing a year out of this field.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I think we're going to come in for a quick graze next week, and then we're going to grow the stockpile on it. I'm just going to maybe take half of this off. I don't know what you're thinking, but I feel like this field's performing so well now it can carry a little bit more weight while the rest of other places.
I would totally agree.
Okay.
I would totally agree with that.
And then the other thing I love is I'm looking at other pieces of land. I don't want to be rude to my neighbours, but their land, like ours in the past, is running to common rush. So, and what we're finding is the common rush and the thistles and the docks and all of the so-called weed species have been absolutely outcompeted by the grass species when we get the soil out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is exactly what happens, and this field is proving that.
Yeah. Should I tell you how I got into all this? Maybe briefly. But at the time, we were hard up, and suddenly you look at it going, well, all my neighbours are making hay, and all my neighbours are got tractors, and all my neighbours are putting fert on, and she's going, you can't afford that sunshine. You can't do it. So we had to. So what we did was dumb, really. We just stopped all the inputs without knowing how to graze properly, without knowing how to look after soil properly, without really knowing what the health of our soil was. And then we had a sort of 20, 30, maybe even 40% drop in the hay crop 2 years later, because we're not putting any synthetic fert on. We've got compacted soils. They're not in particularly good health, the soils. And suddenly, well, you could have panicked, but we couldn't have afforded to go put all the inputs back in. So suddenly had to get real about, okay, what are we doing? How do you really grow grass? What's wrong with the fields? Why are they not performing? And I made friends with a lady called Caroline Grindrod that's Alan Savory person.
Yep.
And she came out and taught me through all the principles of it. And some of the stuff she said sounded like woohoo fairy stuff to me at the time, because it was very conventional in my thinking. And she sort of challenged me. She said, well, why don't you do one field? If you think this sounds like rubbish, do one field wholeheartedly and see what happens. So we got out of it in late March, left it to the end of July, which we've never given a field a rest that long in our lives. We got to the end of July and it's like chest height and long and woody and all the things that grassland can be, but never had been here. And one or two ecologists and sort of nature friends came around and were like, man, that field's amazing. It's full of insects and full of stuff. And I was like, yeah, but what use is it? Still very sceptical. And then I was really inspired by the trampling idea. I thought, this is bonkers, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it full bore. So we put 300 ewes and the lambs in that 5-acre field. We put all the cattle in as well, put them in for 3 days. First day they're happy, of course, because they go and get what they want. Second day they're looking at the gate. Third day they wanted out of there, but it had the best trample on it of mulch you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
And I'm thinking, my God, if my dad or my neighbours saw this, I'd look like an absolute idiot. Looks like a mess to me. But after 3 or 4 weeks, we had the best field of regrowth I have ever seen on my life on this farm. It was radically different. I come back in this house, didn't I? I come back in this house and said, I don't know a damn thing about farming. They're right. It was like immediately obvious to me that everything that you lot, I say you lot, it's as if I don't believe you still. Everything that I was hearing theoretically, because you have a million excuses, don't you? It won't work here, won't work, all the excuses. And I looked at that field and I knew immediately that something magical had happened on that field. And now, of course, I know what it is, which is it's had a very long period to grow deep roots. It's got a massive biomass. When I've trampled it, I've fed the top of it as well, so the soil biology is pumping. And then the question was, on an overstocked farm, all right, how do we do this everywhere? That was my, how do you do this everywhere? There's a number of things we're obsessed with, these heavy midsummer tramples. We've got bits of the farm where we're in the 3rd or 4th year of doing that. In under 5 years, we can put between 3 and 5% soil organic matter back in. And I'm really pushing it to the limit. And I have people telling me I might push it too far someday, but so far all of that stuff's disappearing into the ground. And that part of it was just sheer farmer stubbornness. When I wrote my first book, The Shepherd's Life, I'm suddenly everybody's either favourite farmer or most hated farmer. And all the environmentalists are coming at me strong online. And I'm on the roadside, and if I'm a bullshitter or this place isn't good, they can call it out really quick, and boy does that focus your mind. I kept saying to Helen, maybe we need to do a bit better, like maybe it isn't as good as I've been thinking it was, and that makes you really listen to ecologists and others when they go, actually, like where's your valerian, where's your meadowsmeet, where's your willowy wet pastures. And that helped me to get rolling. I wanted to turn around to George Monbiot, the guy that hates grazing.
Oh yes.
He's on my case. Part of it is I just want to turn around to that guy and go, actually, we've got this.
Yeah.
We've got this.
Right.
I'm sure similar motivation with you.
Yep.
This is biodiverse, this is sustainable, this is healthy. I'm a good steward. But you've got to really walk the walk, haven't you? We can't just do the PR.
Exactly correct.
So I use this as winter stockpile. But these are...
wow.
When I'm watching some of you guys' films from America for like your prairie grasses and things that grow longer, this is our equivalent of it. And what we're finding is just by letting it happen, we're getting, like I heard a sedge warbler the other day, there's birds reappearing on our farm that I didn't know we even had in this valley.
Outstanding.
We've got 14 species of red list birds that are rare everywhere, but appear regularly on our land. So it's allowing ecological succession, but it's still incorporating grazing just more rarely, which is what we're doing in places like this.
Yes.
But I mean, you imagine I get into the autumn, how many days forage am I going to get for my cows in here? And yet it's basically a nature reserve, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you're providing tons of habitat here. And yes, I mean, the biomass in here for feeding, in the fall and winter is just absolutely incredible. Yeah.
The first year we tried to grow winter stockpile, we had a lot of Yorkshire fog, which is a sort of short, sugary, very good grazing grass that thrives well in that system we had previously. And when we got into winter, I had nowhere near as much grazing value as I thought I was going to get, because it was short and sugary and it didn't have very high bricks, and it went slimy and vanished on me. And that would have been a good moment to bail out if I wanted to bail out. By getting the long rests in for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, those fields are transformed, and it's the same grass plants that are now got the bigger root systems, bigger leaves, they stand up into winter for longer. That's the real magic. Where I was, every time I think I'm excited about this, I go to another level of excitement when I realise how cool it can be. And the number of people that tell me it can't be done, who are not losing money doing something different.
I think what I've learnt is the biggest thing is the mindset shift in just farming conventionally to thinking about doing these practices is the biggest hurdle. It's a different way of thinking about the land and the soil and the animals and how to manage that. And that once you've overcome a change in thinking, do we need to feed concentrates? Do we need to make loads of hay? Why are we doing these? Ask the questions, look at the accounts, break it down, and then go from there.
Well, all of those things go away.
Yeah.
And you begin to realize they were absolutely unnecessary inputs and expenses.
Yeah.
So we have a classic thing where people say, but you can't be generating as much production as me. I'm like, I don't have to. I don't have to generate as much production as you. If it's costing you £100,000 to produce your beef calves, and at the end of it you make £2,000. If I don't spend the 100,000, I don't have to. I don't
What
have
have
to.
you done?
I don't have to produce 102,000. If I can beat you 2,000 profit, I'm ahead.
There's a lot of farms that generate quite a bit of gross revenue. But the problem is they generate very, very little net revenue. So at the end of all of that, all you succeeded in doing is giving a whole bunch of other people a lot of money.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? So I've got 2 ideas now about restoring land. So if I took over that piece of land on the hillside there, the common rush would irritate me. I know that the underlying reason for the common rush is unpalatability above ground, so it's winning the battle, and it's got a taproot that takes its own air down. So when soils become anaerobic, that wins because
that's what you're seeing.
It's got an air route. It doesn't do the mixture with mycorrhizal fungi in the same way. So there's sort of 2 solutions in my head. There's a nasty quick solution, which is I might use one last treatment of some nasty chemical to kill that. Then I might feed hay on the death of it, and then let it come with grassland next summer with a very long rest, and change all the management thereafter so that it wasn't winning. Or there's a more patient, faith-based option, which is I skip the nasty chemical stage and I focus on more natural processes, like maybe trampling or feeding hay on top of it, something like that. Could you entertain both, or you just never do the nasty quick one last bad thing? I'm talking about using glyphosate to kill it.
I don't, because I know, number one, it's growing there intentionally to begin the healing process. So I want to allow that to occur. So actually, and we have a lot of rush in our country as well, but actually what I like to do with that is let it grow, let it go through the healing process, but then when it gets a degree of maturity to it, then that's when I want to go in long, narrow paddocks and really do a high degree of trample on it.
Come on, I'm going to show you a field where we're starting to do that, but we're struggling to get the density.
Okay.
So that's sorrel. I mean,
yes.
ridiculously healthy, like you're saying with the wide leaves and stuff.
Yeah.
That's like about that big in most pastures.
Wow.
She's laughing at me because I'm nerding out with another nerd here. that tastes like it's going to taste like lemon.
Sorrel?
Yeah.
You want sorrel?
It's a good salad plant.
Oh, wow.
Lemon, yeah?
That is really good.